between two pies. Back of the pack is Winderlick. Quick handball to Hocking. Back to Lovett Murray. He goes short. It's a mark to Zaharakis. Zaharakis has kicked a goal. The Bombers are in front of the G.
It's time to strap in and get ready. The leaders in AFL Supercoach are incoming, helping you win your leagues and climb up the rankings. You're now listening to the Insight AFL Show with your hosts, Big Horse, Skitty, and Herbie.
Hello and welcome to the Insight AFL Show. I am your host, the Supercoach Big Horse, and I'm here with FithyIFS to talk to you about the last couple of days worth of practice matches, Skitty, that will affect both positively and negatively your Supercoach teams this year. How are you, brother?
I'm fantastic, brother. Good to see your beautiful face. Yes, we are. We've had a lot of some good games, some shocking games, some games that tell us a fair amount what we can expect from Supercoach, and some that give us absolute sweet fuck all. So, but Either way, we're going to try and give as much insight as we can and as much of our thoughts as we can to everyone here. Big hello to the chat as well. So can't wait to get stuck in today.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's pretty important for people to know that, yes, it is pre-season, but not to look too far into what's going on just yet. We know teams who, like St Kilda, who you're going to bring up later, they did bring out their best 23. But when you've got sides that are bringing out 30 and 35 players, they're just playing players in position to get a gauge as to what they can and can't do. So this is our job to filter through the bullshit and to see what's legit and what's not for your sides this year. So without any further ado, if you haven't yet, please like and subscribe to the podcast down below here, or even better yet, jump in our Discord. Insight Unlimited is live, and for less than 50 cents a week, and yes, you know it, a Zinger box upsize with an extra burger, you'll get access to everything we do. Our insights, our trades, our captains, exclusive question and answer content every round of the Supercoach season, and a few other cool perks. Entry to our Discord, of course, is free if you wanted to get involved and chat with the Insight community in there as well. It's not just AFL, but there's NBL, there's NBA, there's NRL, there's heaps of sports going on in there. Our $25, $50, and $100 cash leagues are now up and running, but are quickly filling. So if you're interested in taking part, please comment below and we'll send you through the details. Before we start, as well as you and I doing some notes and watching some games this week, we'd like to credit Lachlan Robb for his research and knowledge that he's passed on to us and distributed amongst the community. He's doing God's work there on Twitter. I encourage you to like and follow Lockie on Twitter, as he's a good quality source of information. Now, before we start, our Unlimited League is 913351. I repeat, 913351. It doesn't cost you a cent. Fuck all. Zero. Zilch. You get the top score each week. You win an $80 prize pack, thanks to the guys at the Standard Squeeze. How good, Skinny?
Oh, fantastic. And then you get the nice little 4B1s. Yeah, nice 4-and-1s. You can get the hats. You can get all their great stuff that they do, little squeezy bottles and everything like that. Oh, you got yours. Woohoo. They are fantastic. They are helping keep cold drinks cold and hot drinks hot. And that's a big win in my books. So
absolutely. So the same thing. I've got one for coffee and I've got one for my cold drinks that my bourbon and Coke's in at the moment. So
I'm going to have to get stuck into them. I need another one.
Sato, you're listening, get us on board, mate. But also, Inside Unlimited, we're open.
Yeah.
So if you think that you are the best Supercoach player that there is in Australia or that plays Supercoach, NRL, AFL, NBL, and BBL. The World Cup is live, and for $10 you can enter in. And if you are the highest percentage earner, I guess, over all four sports, you win a prize pack, which I believe is now up over $1,000 and a trophy. So if you think that you are the best at all four of those sports, I'll put it up on the screen again, NRL, AFL, NBL, and BBL. If you think you've got what it takes to beat everyone else in Australia, enter $10 and you could win bulk cash and prizes. Thanks to the guys here at Insight Fantasy Sports and also the guys at the Standard Squeeze. Without further ado, before we kick off in on your practice matches, do you want to touch on anything?
No, well, you've already touched on the Kangaroos beating Collingwood, which basically means Kangaroos are now the red hot favourites to win the flag because they beat last year's flags. And in the great words of Ric Flair, to be the man, you've got to beat the man, and they have. So that's all I'm saying about that. And then was it also the D's and the Tigs? You covered that as well?
I did, yes, in the previous podcast. Yep.
So if you guys want any information on those games, go back to the previous video. Horse has covered all that. He's done fantastic. Also, too, Mickey Dell, did you hear about the new value meal that you get at Macca's?
Tell me. Talk to me.
It's sponsored by the Melbourne Demons. You get no burger, no fries, just Coke and ice. It's a good value meal.
Oh, dear.
Let's crack on.
And who's the spokesman for that? Joel Smith. There you go.
I think it's Joel Smith, Clary Oliver. They're going well, but they don't have a problem at the club. That's for certain.
Not at all. Anyway, continue on. Let's talk. We're just going to touch on GWS and Sydney because for those of you that haven't heard much on the Sydney teams this year, I've got someone joining me after this to record another show. For those of you that know Phil Unfiltered, he's been down to watch GWS and Sydney, both their games and at training, and has got some inside word as to how players are tracking and how they're going on both sides, GWS and Sydney. So you will not want to miss that. But from this game, Swans 112 to Giants 86. I'll let you, mate, talk to me about Goulden.
He didn't play the first half. I think he came on with probably about 5 minutes to go or something like that in the second quarter. And he really just came in and really made his presence known. He was just the Errol we know and love. He was in the centre bounces. He was half forward. He was wing. He was just kind of rotating. So Campbell and Jordan, they kind of did the CBAs at the start, and then when Goulden came in, he kind of took a bit more. But then Jordan also moved back to the wing. Campbell then moved to the half-back flank, and kind of really killed what he did. But his kicking is just unbelievable. It's just the Goulden we know and love.
He's on point.
Yeah.
Do you see similar type of role from last year at Sydney to now?
Yeah, I think so too, and I think it's more inside. More CBAs, more inside on the on the ball, rather than just purely on that wing. They brought him in straight away to the CBAs. So
I'll give you
a bit more of that.
Yeah, I'll give you the hot tip. If he's not stuck on a wing and he's playing CBAs and he's basically able to run at will and follow the footy everywhere, he could potentially be one of the best scorers in Supercoach this year. So that's a really good pickup by you. Watch this space on Goulden and their game next week. Braden Campbell, the long and the short, played on a wing. Did he do much?
Yeah, so he had on the wing, but then after Goulden came in, he didn't. He went to the halfback, and he wasn't like a running halfback. He was like a lock kind of halfback. He wasn't looking to break away. But I thought he played okay when he was on that wing, but then it was very apparent in the second half that he was just kind of not much.
That doesn't really appeal to me if he's playing that lockdown role, though, does it?
No. He was because he played very well in the finals last year, so he was around the 380 mark, and I was a little bit interested in him, but now I'm fading.
I think you've got to wait that one out, especially with the likes of Blakey and Lloyd down there. They're the ball users. They're the run and carries. We've seen how well Blakey's come on. So, I think it's a really watch your space. But
it was
heading towards
it was definitely Blakey that was doing the run and gun. Lloyd was apparent early with little chip kicks around, but Blakey was just breaking the lines. But also too, just knowing that the CBAs for Sydney, they had Warner, Goulden, Heaney, Jordan, Parker, McInerney, Rowbottom, and Papley all in centre bounce attendances. And Justin McInerney actually started the game in the guts. Also, too, Tay Adams didn't play. So that's another name we've got to throw into there as well. So there's a fuckload going on here.
Yeah. We will get your comments shortly. We'll just get through this first game here. Tommy Green, 621K. He's going to turn into the Supercoach pig, isn't he? I'm one of those ones that I am going to wait and see on him. He's got that really tricky buy. So it gives me another week to wait and see. My next team reveal will be coming up next week after the second week, I guess we can say, of practice matches, and so will yours. So we'll keep the viewers up to date with that. James Jordan, mate. He was good, but not Goulden type good. Do you think at 275K that he could make us 150 to 175K and be able to upgrade him?
Yes, I do believe that. He did have some CBAs, but also he did play on that wing opposite Goulden when he played on the wing as well. And it didn't look like he very much came off of it either. So I was very impressed with how Jordan played. And yeah, I reckon he can easily get 100K, 150K. He could be up to 420 roughly. So he's only, and that's the good thing about Jordan. He's only at 275. He's already experienced with Grundy as well, coming from Melbourne. So, and he looked like he fit in quite well, and he really took control of the whole wing.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really like it, mate. So it's a yes for me at the moment.
Yep.
For Jordan. McInerney, probably not.
No,
he's too inconsistent. Like he's got a ceiling of 100 that he can score, as he's shown a couple of years ago, but last year was a down year, and there's just no consistency there for me.
It was more or less just to show that he was getting centre bounce attendance. That was that was the main thing I noticed about McInerney. He did all right with it, but it's like they're actually willing to throw him in there is kind of thing where I'm going, what else are they going to do at Sydney?
Yeah. Robbie Fox, he did play or has played across half forward and has a lot of it in the second quarter, also some in the fourth. Played as a contested flyer and then also a pressure forward. Didn't have a shot on goal, but a different role from his backline role last year. What do you reckon?
Yeah. Oh, it was strange as hell because I hadn't heard anything about it. And next thing I know, I reckon he got about 8 disposals and about 4 tackles in the space of probably about 5-10 minutes in the forward line. I'm like, is he playing forward? And every single time he kept pushing up forward. So yeah, I thought it was a bit strange because he's been defending backman for the past 4 years or so. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it was just a bit of a strange one. So I wanted to bring that up, just say because it caught my eye a bit.
Good man. I'll quickly go through the next couple. Warner, Chad Warner, 560K mid, 2 set shots, 2 goals with some centre bounce attendances. He is classy and he loves to get his hands on the pill, but that's too high of a price that someone who's going to be playing forward a lot more than midfield, as the weekend would suggest. But again, we don't really look into too much that's going on. The next one, please, people, do not get sucked into this man. Heaney. 483K. He's been all over the shop, but he always plays well in the preseason. He sucks people in. And then I see a role for him alongside Logan McDonald up forward. You've just reeled off a heap of names that could play midfield. Taylor Adams wasn't there. He's going to play the majority of his football in the midfield. So please, ladies and gentlemen, do not get stung by him. Have you got anything you'd like to add there?
No, he literally played all over the joint today. He was wing, centre bounces, half back, half forward, like forward pocket. He was everywhere, just rotating through. And I had no idea. And again, he's burned us before. So yeah, not for Haney. As good of a player as he is, no.
Josh Kelly, solid as always in the midfield with Cogs. Both were doing what they normally do and attended most centre bounces with Green. You'd say that's the 3 midfielders?
Yeah, it was those 3. Then Angwin came in for a couple of times, but it was mainly those 3 that were pushing it the whole game.
Yep. Grundy versus Briggs. Grundy was just really good. You need to have him in the team. Am I right?
Oh, absolutely. The only thing I have to say about this, and I noticed this across a lot of the games as well, the fucking umpires were just giving free kicks in the ruck, left, right, and centre. Like, I reckon it was probably about 6 or 7 to Grundy and probably about 5 or 6 to Briggs as well. And I'm like, just let the boys do it. Like,
yeah, that's right.
They just kept giving free kicks for nothing. So
it's a man's game. That's right.
Yeah, I don't understand it. But either way, they both played well. Grundy was taking marks and getting on the ground like we used to see him do in Collingwood. It was impressive.
Yep. I really like this pick. And a lot of people have been, not a lot of people, but some people have messaged me personally and said, let's not talk about him on the air because he's going to be a nice little pod pick that not many people know about. But I'm all for being transparent and honest with the community. So I encourage people to pick this guy. He looks really, really good. He got off to a slow start, but in the second half, he came to life, was flying up and down the close side wing and was part of a lot of the Giants' passages of plays. Definitely keep an eye on him. It's a massive cash grab here. And
100%.
In the past, he's been able to score his 70s and 80s. He had a pretty crook run last year with injury, but it looks like he may slot into that side there.
Yep, it's the 5 test for me. You know, when like they keep doing a shoulder injury and you see him cop a knock and then they get up and you're like, okay, beautiful. The shoulder didn't just go. It didn't give him any grief whatsoever. Up and about. And I was like, yep, I'm loving this. He kicked a beautiful goal as well. And his run up and down was just really controlling. I loved it.
Yep. 2 more. I'll just get quick analysis from you.
Quick
We've got a lot
one,
of games to get through. Cadman, he did look good.
Yeah, he looked fantastic. 4 goals as well. Look, one of them was a gimme by Hogan, but still, like, he was taking clunker marks. It was good. I don't. He might make some coin, but I think there's better players to be able to get it.
Yep. And some people in the Supercoach community have been talking about Matty Roberts.
Yeah, I just don't. He looked okay, but like it wasn't enough. I don't think to be able to keep him in the side when these other players come back in. I just don't think he's part of their best 22.
Absolutely, and also Taylor Adams and Toby Green did not play. So before we get into the next game, we'll go through a couple of the comments. Global, how you doing, mate? Phil's in the chat.
Yes,
bloody
Billy. Great
fella. Global, yes. Ian, hi guys. H. Reed, Windsor versus Lazaro. Mate, that's a good one. Let's wait for this week and see, because they're being played in different roles at the moment. So I'm not going to go too early. The jury's out on Harley Reid at the moment, but he's the number 1 pick for a reason. And I'm telling you, he will be good. Global, please tell me a little bit about Hustwaite. We will a little bit later on, I believe, mate. So stand by for that. Just quietly skiddy with the truly elite podcast, Mike. Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, Deadly, we are going to help you with your Supercoach side, mate. She'll be right. Look at this for cheek. Mudguts loves a bloody Mackie Zoe meal. How does get fuck sound, Mr. Worldwide?
Yeah, I like that Gullible getting around me joke as well. I'm glad that I can bring a bit of entertainment for the bit of the joke.
Absolutely. Travis Slubke, welcome, mate, for the second straight week. Love having you here. Coleman, definitely a must-have after round 2 bye. I think we're on with you, mate. We'll talk about that later. And Dunkley does look good. The buys just scare me a little bit. Cade Perkins, thoughts on Whitfield?
It was a weird one because he got a lot of the ball early and, he was just doing normal Lockie Whitfield things, but he just didn't, he wasn't apparent. It wasn't as Whitfield as we normally see. He wasn't sprinting up and down, getting from behind or anything like that. It was just even though, in fairness, Sydney's pressure defense was fantastic. So I don't know if they were kind of locking it from Whitfield, but he just didn't zing, but definitely still keeping an eye on him in the Pracky match coming up.
Yep. And our man, the myth, the legend, who will be back with us next week due to some internet issues. Footy's back soon. Yes, it is, brother.
I'm missing you, Herbie.
Let's get into the next game. Carlton versus Geelong. So Carlton, 56 was defeated by Geelong, 73. First half got to 36 degrees. So the game slowed down after half time as the blokes looked noticeably tired. Mm-hmm. Tommy Stewart was quiet by his standards, 635K. But you know what? I'm okay with that. People jump off him. He'll just make it more of a pod for. He was one of the first picked in my side, and he'll stay there.
Yep, I agree with that. He just wasn't doing what he normally does, but they were still looking for him. They were still giving him opportunities. He's going to be fine.
Yep. Sard, talk to me about Sard because he burnt me hard last year. Oh, he was one of Carlton's better defenders with his early run and dash.
Yeah, no, he was very, very good in the first, I'd say, 2 quarters. But as I said, everyone started to, besides one player who I'm going to bring up, who played it fantastic the whole game. But Saab was really, really impressive early. He was running from behind. It was the big long kicks like we're expecting, but he was also taking players on and burning them with his wheels. So it was quite impressive. He also, too, to me, burnt me. But, we can sit here and we can, everyone in the Supercoach community, they'll have an idea in their head of people that burnt them or anything like that. But sometimes we just got to look at what's in front of us, and that's how people are playing. And Sard had an absolute cracker. So he's one to watch.
Absolutely. Mr. Newman down back for the Blues, played like he normally does. Quiet for him, but nothing special. Cripps, tell me about Cripps.
Mate, he looked good. He was in and under. He was getting a lot of handballs out to his mates. He was setting up his team. It was noticeable that he was trying to pick it up without Walsh there, and he had to get in there because Hewitt really wasn't. So Cripps was being that in and under type, trying to get the handballs out and everything. And he looked good doing it.
Question for you, mate.
Yep.
Do you think Walsh out, does this benefit Cripps?
Cripps out? Walsh out benefits Cripps. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Cripps was doing more of what Walsh normally does. Walsh, being the in and under and then also running out and keep on going. Cripps was doing more of that. But again, it was early because it was fucking hot and everyone else looked bloody fatigued after that.
Yeah, okay.
So, but he looked good while he was doing it.
Yep. Ollie Hollands, 322k mid, awkwardly priced, but he was easily best on ground for the Blues. Was running the whole day and got a lot of the pill and got in all the right positions. Is this the man you wanted to talk about?
Mate, his game was unbelievable against Geelong.
Okay.
It was you would watch the ball go down to Geelong's forward line or something like that off screen. Next thing you know, they'd zoom in and Ollie Hollands was there. And you're like, how the fuck did he just get there again? And then they'd kick it down to the Carlton's one. Ollie Hollands is there again. And it was like he was playing as an extra mid. Right. He kept getting the ball. And then when a quick kick came out of the stoppage, Ollie Hollands would be the first person to get in the ball again. He played such a good game today. It really, really impressed me. I know he's in a very awkward price, but he was just everywhere. It was very impressive game.
Okay. That's good to hear. Another one that I've actually got my eye on that I didn't originally, but I went back and watched some footage of last year, and I think he's in for a big leap this year, is Brian Myers.
Oh, yeah.
Talk to me.
Mate, that first half from Brian Myers, he was Geelong's best on quite easily. It was every single ball that would come to the half-forward line would be to Grind. Grind would then tit it up. He was looking damaging inside 50 as well. He was also putting on pressure acts, got a few tackles. He was very, very impressive, Brian Myers. And what is he? He's 451. So, I'm also kind of just having a close look. Yeah, because also, too, the other one around that price is Sam Flanders, and he also played a very good game against Brisbane. So
if you had to pick Sam Flanders, Jeremy Cameron, or Brian Myers, who are you picking?
See, that's the thing. They're all on my watch list, but I'm waiting until the preseason game next week, and I'm going to see how that goes but they are all very much there in contention because there was some very impressive shit going on.
Global's just thrown us a name that I don't have in my notes, but you did watch the game. Jack Bowes or Jack Bowes.
Yes. So this is one that I was contemplating with how I think the CBAs, because this is the thing with the Global. We know Guthrie's down now. Poor Guthrie going down with the
quad. Yep.
Quad. 8 seconds in, that absolutely sucks. We know he was going to be the inside guy. So Bowes, yes, theoretically, if he does go into those CBAs. But you know who else was in those CBAs and looked pretty good? Tanner Bruin. Also, too, Max Holmes looked really good, but he was moved everywhere. He was wing, half back, half forward, center. But it's going to be, I reckon it's going to be one of the, or Tommy Atkins. I reckon it's going to be one of those three. So that's why I'm not fully in on Bowes yet, but it's definitely one to be keeping out for as well.
And it is sad to see Cam Guthrie go down, but you've touched on Maxi Holmes, Tanner Braun, and the fact that it was a very contested game and that players got fatigued pretty early on. We've got a bloke who's commented multiple times in the chat, so I think he deserves a shout out. Our friend Cameron Young, the number one New York Knicks supporter in Australia, the GOAT, the lock. Is he talking about the Zinger box or is he talking about...
Yeah, I've also got this in my notes. I don't want to call him Colonel Sanders. I want to call him the Zinger. Riley Saunders. Riley Saunders.
He is sex, but we'll talk about him later.
Yeah, 100%. He's I want to call him the Zinger.
Let's trademark it. That's ours. Perfect. The Zinger box, Colonel Sanders.
Yep. Also, just with this game as well, with the Carlton Geelong game. Sam De Koning played so goddamn well on Curnow and Mackay early. He was just so bloody good. And he's not going to be any good for Supercoach, but he was so locked down. Curnow only kicked one goal for the game, and that came right in the last quarter. Harry Mackay was pinch hitting ruck. He
had
took a couple of good marks, didn't he? Oh, mate, he fucking oath he did. He had some absolute stinkers on goal. I think his first three went out of bounds on the full, almost hit the point post, kicked one from about 40 out. That was impressive. I reckon Jordan Russell, the new Carlton forward coach, he's got to have the most pressure on his shoulders this year because they're just sitting there going, "Oi, help Harry out with his goal kicking." What do you want me to do? I'm trying. He just can't kick.
Tell me, mate, you're a Kangaroos man. Which brother's the better kick?
Oh, Jesus. Well, Harry at least kicks the ball, so I've got to say Harry.
Okay.
Maybe.
Give me some
Ben
hope,
had one good kick today.
Give me some hope. Let's move on. Brisbane versus Gold Coast. So 3/4 time, the Suns put the VFL squad out there, but it was 74-42. Now, let's talk about my man that we brought up weeks and weeks ago when we found out, when we were told that this guy was going to be rotating across halfback. We copped a little bit of shit. That's okay. But now that people have actually seen that this guy can use the ball, they're like, oh, we've got to get him in. Yep. Sexton, please, 133K. Mate, how good did he look?
Mate, he was sensational. And I didn't realize he was that quick. That was the thing that surprised me. I was like, okay, I know he's a good goal sneak and I know he can have a good shoe, but he was deceptively quick off the mark and he showed it a few times. And used the ball well, and they were looking for him as well for those, like from the handballs behind. Yep. There's a reason why he was on the back page of the Gold Coast page.
There's a reason why he's down there. Yep.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking for a nice little cheap rookie pick in your front half, he's not going to be the Charlie Constable of last year. He will be carving out a roll down here. Yes. Very confident, and he's in my side, and he's starting on the ground.
Mine too.
Heavy mid-rotation for the Suns with Anderson, Real, Took, Ainsworth, Fiorini, Swallow, Humphrey, and Flanders all getting a good crack in there.
Yep.
Dunkley, he is that good, isn't he?
Oh, bloody oath he is, mate. Look, I'm going to say it now. Dunkley is in my team. As you all know, that those last two games last year when they put the Q in the rack, before that he was averaging 120, which would have netted him second for the year. Aside from Libber's 20 where he got knocked out, but either way, but Dunkley looked amazing in this. He was handballs everywhere. It was beautiful kicks. It was in and under. He was tackling everyone. Yeah, it's big time dunks for me.
We got Cam in the chat again. Stuff that bloke, ex Bulldogs, won a premiership at the Bulldogs, and probably before long will win a premiership at Brisbane. They're primed and ready to contest this year again.
Yep, so absolutely.
Charlie Cameron, he took the absolute PI 5, kicking 5 in the first half. Did he do much else?
No, not really. But they were done by then. He sat for most of the, like after he kicked his fifth, they sat him for most of the rest of the second. And then he was on for a little bit, did a little bit here and there. But yeah, mate, he was electrifying at the start. It's just vroom vroom. They even had the country roads playing as well after about his third. It was fantastic.
It's delicious, isn't it? I love when they get up and about.
Mate, he got a free kick against Bodie Hewland, and back his match turns around and shoves him. And he's just like, come on. For one, he's 19. For two, this is a pracky match, but that's Charlie.
Mate. Yeah, but that's that Queensland rivalry that they've got going up there. And like I anticipate Gold Coast are going to give the finals a bit of a shake this year. They're pretty prime with the list that they've got now. That they're looking pretty nice.
Do you want another bolt bet on that?
Yeah, let's do it. Kitty Coleman, 398K, having a lot of run off half back, plenty of the ball too. Tricky buy, but I'm considering him.
Mate, he looked bloody good. And it was, imagine what Daniel Rich used to do for Brisbane, but not just bombing it 50, 60 meters every single time. He
laces them out. He's good.
Oh, yeah, his kick work is very, very nice. And also, too, he looked like he was running at about 80% when he got the ball. He had people behind him. He didn't give a shit. He was just like, I'm just going to, carry on. He looked fantastic.
He's one of those players that just glides, isn't he? Like, he looks really nice.
Yeah.
A couple of people in the chat. Is Badarik worth a shout? I don't think so. Because, and I'll tell you why, because you'll have Powell, you'll have not Flanders, you'll have Sexton. And then you're going to have Weller.
Weller, that's the one.
So I don't think so, Global. I think just steer clear. I think Sexton's your shout down there.
Yep. He also, just quickly on that, Sexton was getting majority of like the handball receives and then the kickbacks, while Butterick, he did play well and he had some good moments, but he also was playing a bit more of a defensive role on like Raynar and McCluggage and whoever was half forward. Yeah. So
put it this way. Sexton, think Jaden Short from Richmond. Would I be right?
Yes.
There you go. Amy Satchel, thanks for the work, guys. No worries. Thank you for joining in. Like and subscribe. Join the Discord. Chat footy all season long. Exactly what I love doing. Mitts 2K. Mitts, one of the best 2K players in Australia. Let's go. Yes, sir, mate.
Yes, sir.
And Justin Herbert. Gold Coast Suns are going to be our major sponsor soon. We're aiming high. We're aiming higher, mate.
You're right.
Let's before we continue on, mate. Harris Andrews looked pretty good, 497k.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Just interceptions galore. But we've seen when teams put work into him, don't get trapped by him, because a bit like Sicily, when teams cotton on and start tagging him, Sicily, then their points production goes right down. So just be wary.
Yep.
Flanders
he played well.
Yeah. Flanders 494k and Anderson 586k. Real standouts in the Gold Coast mids and outside ball users alongside Rao, would you say? Rao looked pretty nice too.
Yeah, Rao
Humphrey,
and Took,
Yep. Humphrey 331k, didn't do much. I think Dusty Martin light, but remember when Dusty early in his career, it took him 2 or 3 years to get going? That's this guy. That's
I'll
what
tell you what. It took me a while to fucking figure out who he was too, because he started the game in the guts, and I'm like, 19. I'm like, I think that's Humphrey, but he doesn't have the long hair anymore, and he's not like he's now got
he's not chubby anymore too, is he?
No, he's now filled out, and he's also got an arm sleeve, and I'm like, he's turned from hello sir to I'm fucking daddy cunt. Like he's filled out.
And for those of you playing at home, yes, that we do drop F-bombs and C-bombs occasionally. So
I'm just calling him mate.
Yeah, mate. It is a term of endearment here in Australia. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Cade Perkins in the chat. Who would you say are locks in your defense? The only locks I have at the moment are Dacos, Stewart, Sheasel.
I am also the same unless I have... I'm pretty confident with Gibkiss as well from Richmond. And Caulfield after what Caulfield did today. If he gets a spot,
But Cade, tune in next week, mate. We'll put it on the socials. We will be releasing our teams prior to round 0. Our next game or our next lot of practice matches are going to be brought to you by our friend, Ryan from Astute Newstead. Are you wanting to buy your first home or even an investment property and don't know how? Are you the current owner of a house or mortgage with an interest rate over 6.2%, we at Insight Fantasy Sports can guarantee you that Ryan can get you a better deal. Best part is he'll do it for free. All you need to do is mention our name and the work's done. You can contact him at ryanh@eganwealth.com.au, on Facebook and Instagram at Hammond_SHL_astute, or his phone number 0431 766 784. There's that delicious looking mustache one more time. Western Bulldogs versus Hawthorn, mate. Western Bulldogs 108, Hawthorn 83. I'm going to let you start us off by talking about the Zinger box, mate. Go your hardest.
Yeah, okay, look, I'm so in on the Zinger. He is going to be such a good player for so many years, and the Dogs have got an absolute ripper in that one. It's just going to be if they can give him the time in the midfield. We know there's Bont, we know there's Libba, we know there's Treloar, we know there's McRae, Daniel, they've got a lot that can go through there, but geez, he looked good. He looked very good. He was taking on tackles. He was getting the arms free. He was getting the handballs away. Yep. He has such a good kick too. I'm really high on the Zinger.
Sorry, I just want to touch on this. So you're not worried about Dacos' schedule and the bye? Long story short, mate, no. You're going to have to get him in at one stage if you want to win the prize, mate. I'm basing my team now to start with as many decent primos and with my chance at winning the top score or the best score for the year as I can, mate. So Weddle, Frost, Grimshaw and Sis getting lots of it early by chipping side to side with each other. So while that might amount to a lot of disposals, it does not amount to huge Supercoach scores, am I right?
Yep, absolutely. But as much of their chip bullshit kicking that they did, Weddle genuinely looked good as well when doing it. He was trying to he was probably the last line of it, and then he'd start to shoot off and actually go down. And he actually played a really good game, Josh Weddle.
Yeah, good. Caleb Daniel, 520k, lively early, played through the middle and off half back, mate. Looks nice.
Yep, looks very nice. And I know there was a lot of talk that he might go forward, but he didn't today. So that's why we wait for tomorrow. Also, just prevents whatever the word is. Just a heads up.
Yeah.
The Dogs, they split their team basically in half for this. So the main players that didn't play for the Dogs that normally would was like English, Bont, McRae, Treloar, Waitman, Jamara, Keith, and someone else. So there's a lot of shuffling that can still go on this dog side. That's why we got to watch next week. But Daniel looked good what he was doing. He took the foot off the gas a little bit, probably around the third, but he was still looking pretty good.
Nice. Caulfield, 123K.
Ooh,
both of us really liked his run out of defense, didn't we?
Mate, he was taking intercept marks too. And at some point I was like, shit, I thought he was a lot smaller than he actually was, but he played a lot bigger as well, and he was lacing them. It was very impressive.
Yep. There was someone in the chat, I can't remember, a couple of weeks ago, because we haven't heard much about how Nick Caulfield was tracking, and he's been a little bit quieter, I guess, in practice matches, but we can confirm that he does look good and that we believe that he will be in the best 23 come round one.
Yep.
Sicily, we've touched on him, 637K kick-ins.
Yep.
I don't think he's going to score this well with the major backs going down, mate. I think he's got to be more accountable, as we saw, and Hawthorn just don't have the manpower to match up. Like, if you're relying on old mate Frost, that if you're clapping and cheering if the ball leaves his hand and ends up hitting his foot and goes straight, that's not a win. So,
and it was Frost as well. He was the one that started fullback down there as well. He actually took a couple of good intercept marks, in fairness to him. But
is that because it bounced off his nose first, or
it was a great kick straight to him. But then also he was also playing against Rory Lobb, and need I say more?
Rory Lobb. Hey, a couple of comments in the chat that I'll bring up with you, mate. Surely losing Smith from Lockie Brook, who's a frequent viewer of the show. G'day, Lockie, old man Chuka, great bloke. Will it free up Daniel? Possibly. Yes, but I think it's going to benefit our Colonel a little bit more.
Yep, I agree. Smith was playing more half forward flank and wing last year with a little bit in the guts. So, but they have so many midfielders that it doesn't really matter. Yeah, I agree. I think the Colonel goes to that wing, and Ed Richards gets a bit more job security on that wing. No, sorry, Oscar Baker. Sorry, Baker was someone else. Yeah, the wrong ranger.
I was hoping this man wouldn't get brought up, but talk to me.
Mick, I didn't want to put anything in the notes, but he genuinely played pretty fucking well for the first half.
Really?
And I can't even lie. Yeah, he got a fair amount. I reckon he would have had probably 12 disposals first half, and I don't think he stuffed one kick up, as JJ always does. There was not a lot of defensive running back, but the run from behind was nice.
Do you think he starts round 0? I'm putting it on you right now.
Shit, who didn't they have? Richards, Bailey Dale. It's tight. I reckon it's very tight. Probably not.
At 420K, I think he is.
Yeah,
too
probably
risky.
not.
Yeah.
Either if he's starting, I'm still not bringing him in. But it was impressive what he did.
Talk to me about Darcy. He looked really good.
Sam Darcy did look very good. And if you watch...
He's filled out. Like he
has
big.
filled out. You know, the most impressive thing to me about Darcy was that he was kicking on both feet for a bloke that size, and he was lacing him on his left as well. And I was very, very impressed with that. He was taking good marks. He looked really good in the ruck, actually, in fairness, against big fucker. What's his name?
Meek. There's Meek, and then there's Ned Reeves.
Yeah. Ned Reeves, yeah. Ned Reeves is the massive one. Yeah.
He's like 6 foot 100. Yeah.
Yeah, he was playing really well against him, actually, in the ruck. So I said, if English goes down, Darcy's going to be full ruck, and he's going to really, really impress people because he looks really good.
Well, to me, I'm looking at having him at F8 at the moment. I think there's a role there for him that the Western Bulldogs are going to utilise. Ginnivan, 294K, started well. Ooh. Don't do it to yourself.
No, Mickle, hang on a second.
Okay.
I thought this too, but I think it was the third quarter. They genuinely started looking for him on the half-forward flank. And the most impressive thing, he was actually taking marks from the kick-ins from Bulldogs behinds. He was actually the guy that was going down to the halfback flank and taking marks and then being the next kick. He was putting in a shitload of effort, and he had some really, really good plays and actually looked really nice in the second half of the game. And I don't want to do it to myself. But I'm kind of watching next week because the effort he was providing really impressed me.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
No. It might have to be a bolter bet in that one too if you go that way. But watch this space. We'll see how we go. John Newcomb had 3 touches and 2 turnovers in the first quarter. Looked a lot better in the second, but again, it's a practice match. Let's wait for next week on him. Libar, 648K, was everywhere and was perhaps one of the best on ground.
No. Wasn't perhaps. He was, and he knew he was. He took the piss out of everyone.
Okay, good.
No one could catch him.
Tell me about Harms. I've been talking about him a little bit this preseason and watched a little bit of this game, and I still think that he can be really relevant in that doggy side.
So he started mid. He started at the centre bounce. He played there a fair amount. I think he had a bit of time on the wing, in fairness. He was quiet for the second quarter because the whole Dogs outfit was quiet in the second quarter, and they steamrolled him in every other one. Kicked a good goal from 50 as well. Had a couple of good fend-offs, some good tackles as well. So that was interesting. I just don't know if he just won't get into the midfield. You know what I mean? Unless he's, maybe
he's a rotation. He's a rotation piece.
He could be an extra midfield point from like the half-forward flank or the wing or something like that. So
I can definitely see that he'll start against teams that you need someone to tag against, because you've got your Libbers, you've got your Trelaw, you've got your Bontempelli, so you've got your in and unders, you've got your outside class. They probably just lack a stopper. And he's shown in the past that he can be that stopper. So I can envision him playing off a half-forward flank, and then as soon as the centre bounces are done, playing as that high forward mid. So rotating up around the midfield, rotating around clearances, going to a man, and perhaps getting more pill that way. So there's definitely big scope for him to score well there. We'll move through these next ones a bit quicker. What's that?
Lob starts in your team, Skiddy. He's a
cunt. Do you reckon there's perhaps a chance, albeit a small chance, that Darcy starts in the team over Lob?
I'd like to see it. I just don't know if they will do it. But I mean, shit, if I was Beveridge, I would, but I just don't think they'll actually do it.
Hardwick, 481K. Ford is working well, 2 goals and using his body well for contested marks and spacing, but still too much for that role.
Too much.
Liam Jones, 327K, look really strong down back. Intercept marks and strong grabs against Lewis. Probably just too awkwardly priced. Hustwaite looked good. 180K. They are raving about him.
CBAs as well, tackles galore. He really, really applied pressure to the Dogs midfield. In fairness to him, it was a bit hard for him because he was trying to catch Libba, and Libba was literally just taking the piss. But other than that, he played well.
For those that are in the chat, Global, Travis, Lubke, I want you guys to tell us, if you had to choose Hustwaite or McKenzie, who would you choose? Because for me, I believe that McKenzie did this last year. He pumped down an 80, and then I believe it was 100 in the 2 practice matches in the preseason. We all chose him because it was at we didn't all choose him, but he was at about 46 or 47% from memory, people that chose him, and then averaged 60 for the year and sort of burnt us a little bit because he didn't score that well at the start of the year. So which way would you be going, guys?
The thing that I say about McKenzie as well is that he's at that 270 price range when the people around that price range is Fife, Jordan, and Harms.
Ginnivan.
And I'm like, Ginnivan, yep. So, hey, you never know. You never know. Hey, we don't have to hate him anymore. He doesn't play for Collingwood, remember?
How many beers you had?
A couple.
A couple, all right. If English ever goes down with injury, Sam Darcy is a must. He did look unreal in the ruck. He kicked 3 goals for the day, using the ball off each foot. And I know I'm an Essendon man, but another one that can use the ball off each foot is our man Reid. And a great segue into St Kilda v Essendon. So for us Essendon supporters, nothing's changed. We get belted. So what? 40 to 106. But I'll tell you what, Saints come out as if this was round 1. Like they were just pummeling in at the contest. And I was disappointed for all of about 60 seconds because you could see that they'd turned up to play and Essendon was just trying to play to a structure. And it kind of didn't work because they were just boom, boom, boom in at the contest and just going nuts. But anyway, Parrish just over 600K.
Hang on. Hey? Let us just say before we start going into all this stuff, people may say, look, there's a little bit Essendon less kind of thing in here, but that's because St Kilda literally controlled the ball for the first half, and Essendon didn't get anywhere near it. It was literally like they were just chipping, goal. And then, in fairness to Essendon, they played very, very well at the stoppages. Goldstein was good in the ruck. They had first touch of the footy, but then as soon as it went into their forward line, there were a bunch of headless chooks running around, and Dougal absolutely killed them, same as Wilkie, and Battle as well.
I challenge anyone to go back and see any Ross Lyon coached team and check what their record is up until round 7 of any one year. And I think you'll find that they are 5-2, 6-1. Like, they are switched on from now. And it's not until round 8, round 9, round 10 that they start losing games of footy. So, Global in the chat, we are so shit horse. I still think that we're a shot at playing finals, mate. I didn't say we're going to win one, but we've got a list that can compete. I wouldn't read too much into this Global. So Parrish, 600K. He had a lot of the ball, as he normally does. I'm still sticking with him for now. Jack Steele, 534K. Started okay in the middle with Winhager, who came off with an injury, injured his hand, scans to come back. Philippou, 287K through the middle versus Parrish, Merritt, and Durham, which is probably why Essendon were winning a fair bit of the ball out of the middle and then just shitting the bed, so to speak, when we're going forward of centre. Darcy Wilson, you want to talk about Mr. Wilson?
Yeah, 130K. Is he mid or forward? Actually, I think he's both. Now,
he's both. Dual position.
Both, yes. He played like an okay first quarter, but the way he gets over the all around the ground is fantastic. His run is amazing. His speed is exceptional. There was one point where he literally, Laverde was on the mark and he just ran past him. He's just like, I don't need this shit. And then later in the game, he really did start to come into his own a little bit and started being a bit more of a running past kind of player. And he actually has good hands on him as well.
Yeah, he does. For those of you that watched the rookie episode that we dropped about a week and a half ago, we brought up the fact that he is a time trial king. He does run really well. His change of speed is really good. He's got a good balance between his endurance and his top end speed, but he also uses the ball well. So I believe that he will be one that will be starting round 1 for St Kilda. He's a little bit more elevated at 130K, but I think it's worth it if you're going to have a playing rookie like him. Nick Martin, he was being force fed. Beautiful kick of the footy. And before people start, he chopped the ball and he turned the ball over. Yeah, he turned the ball over 7 times. Yeah, the wind was blowing like a, whatever you want to say, like they were playing next to a bloody windmill farm. But 20 of his 28 touches on a day like that hit the target and were effective.
Yep. The run from behind was exceptional. They are using him like a cost, like a shield. Sheasel. That it was, and I thought he played absolutely unbelievably well, and he was probably the best for Essendon, maybe alongside Parrish.
Yep, I think so too. And I don't mind, like for me personally, if people want to go out and go, oh, well, he's turning the ball over, he may not make too much money, yada, yada, yada. He only needs to average 106 by my calculations to make him a top 6 defender by the end of the year. If he continues with this role, he will be mid-defender eligible, and he will comfortably average that if the weekend was anything to go by.
Yep. I couldn't agree more. I know there was no Ridley, but they were looking for him over Red Dog anyway. So
I envision as an Essendon man, and I'm no harder on them. I get excited when they win, but very critical of them at the same time. So we'll have Redmond as a running defender. We'll have Mardo or Nick Martin as the user out of the back line, similar to Sheasel, probably not quite as good because Sheasel is king. And then you've got Ridley, who's going to be the second or third man up, depending on how they're going to structure their back line. And McKay will go to every big down there. That's basically their core 4 down there.
Let me just remind...
Jake Kelly will go and tag the small forward, and he doesn't use the ball well either. So you think McKay doesn't use the ball well, Kelly doesn't use the ball well. They're going to look to get the ball in Mardo's hands as much as they can.
And it happened numerous times where McKay took the mark and looked straight for Martin, handballed it straight to him, and sometimes straight to Tim Embry. But that's okay.
Yeah. Wanganeen Malera, 475K. Yeah, I want to, before you touch on these guys, there's been a little bit of commentary around Bonner, 284K as well, working together off a half back. where do you see Sinclair popping into all of that? Who misses out?
That's the thing. It's definitely Bonner that
Yep.
misses out, not Wanganeen Malera, but Bonner played such a good game as well off halfback today, and his ball was very, very good. Kicked the beauty of a goal too. But yeah, I think Sinclair really impacts Bonner unless they throw Sinclair into the guts.
Yeah, which I can't see happening.
Oh, they did a little bit. Yeah, but they played a little bit of it last year. They tried it. I mean, they were losing anyway, so who gives a shit? But
Wanganeen, Malera and Sinclair, they're both the ball users in the back half of St Kilda.
Yeah, but geez, Wanganeen Malera looked like so good against Essendon. His run, his kicking, his marking ability, they were looking for him as well. They were trusting him so much, and he looked fantastic.
To be fair, Essendon was shit too.
That is fair too.
Did you see the preseason ladder that they brought out today? It had Kangaroos in the top 4.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. But what did I say? We're not worrying about it or anything like that. But
congratulations,
we just beat the flag last year's.
And you know what? Essendon bottom. Hey.
Yeah, I did say that.
Yeah. Filippo, 287K, just awkwardly priced, getting a few centre bounce attendances, but nothing just yet. He will be good in the future, though. Marshall, 639K, was taking marks all over the ground, but Goldie got the better hand in the ruck. Zardes, 245K, has been okay.
He looked good.
Yeah, he needs to clean up his disposal. If his disposal is good, then he'll be one to look to bring in. There is one that you saw that you really like the looks of that I want you to talk about, mate. Hugo Garcia.
Here's the thing. I did the research. He was a pick. I think he was 50th, or he was in the 50s for St Kilda last year. And I looked at it, and he was in the centre bounces. He went to about, after Windhager went down, he was in about 8 in a row. And I'm like, who the hell is this bloke? Number 34 running around. And I'm like, oh, shit, that's Hugo Garcia. Kicked a beauty of a goal. He was trying to tackle everyone. He didn't make all of them stick. But he was in and under. He was putting his body in there. He was getting a few handballs out. He looked all right. And the thing about this game is that the Bombers and the Saints both played their best 24 available, which means that he's at least around the mark. And it being at 117K mid-forward, it's definitely something to keep notice of when you're going into these future rounds, or even, let's say round 5 or something like that, you need a downgrade and he's starting to get a game. You go, okay, this guy is actually being trusted by Ross Lyon to play on the ball.
Do you know who this reminds me a little bit of?
Who's that?
Cade Chandler from Melbourne last year.
Yeah, it's got a bit of Cade about it.
Mm-hmm.
And he looked 100%. Good. Like he was taking the pill by the balls, and he ran with it for a while there. And he looked good. Good,
mate. We'll move on because I know people are dying to hear about Fremantle West Coast. So let's touch on it, mate. So Freo 14-98 defeated West Coast. Fuck all. Caleb Sarong, 621K mid. This man took the absolute PI double 5 out of the Eagles in the first. Yeah. Had around 15 touches in the first quarter. So Sarong, Fife, and Brayshaw, who's sitting at 600K, handled most of the centre bounce attendances, and Sarong got it on most occasions. Oh yeah, I'm just not tempted. He's in my side at the moment.
He's. I watched that and I went, shit. He's in mine too, because the thing that they did was Darcy and him have such a good connection. Darcy was just feeding it down his throat. And then the thing that I saw most impressive was if they didn't go to Darcy, if they went to either Brayshaw or Fife, they were looking for Sarong, who was then rapping instantly. And it's like every single centre bounce clearance, it went straight to Sarong.
Mm-hmm.
I know Darcy's not going to dominate everyone in like he did to Bailey Williams in the ruck, but that was just super impressive by Sarong.
Yeah. Fife. Now, this is the main reason why I want to talk about this game. 283K was fantastic and played out the whole time and mostly in the midfield.
Yep.
Are you ballsy enough to want to pick him?
Yep.
You going to pick him?
Yeah, I'm picking him.
You know what? I'm not.
Okay. That's fair enough. We can have a difference of opinion on that.
We can, and I love that.
I know there is a very, very real chance that Fife won't be able to string 3 games together in a row.
Yeah.
I'm very, very well aware of that. But the way that the rest of my team is being built,
structured.
I need structured. Yep. I feel like it's just so much ability that he has where he can get these big scores,
and
his body's holding right. He's in the midfield as well.
He is.
He played out the game. He's taken bumps. He's getting in and under. He's flying for balls like he used to. It's like looking at almost the old Fifey. And it's that price is, it's not like I'm going at like, Yo's price at like 470. This is not a massive price to pay. No. That's why I'm just going, yep, if he misses one game in round 3 or something like that, and then they bring him out the next round as well, by all means, if you look at it as well, Mick, it's basically like Cena's opening round is happening and we don't have those scores. All those players that play an open round play one less game than every other player, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically like, if he misses one game early, it's pretty much like the equivalent of having, well, it's not the equivalent of having Dacos or anything like that, but it's, one of the opening round players as well around that price that you're having that gamble on. So I've still got that buffer as well. I've got a round buffer if he makes it through and they give him 1 week's off rest. It's the same thing.
Yeah, good.
Mm-hmm.
I hope
you have to agree with me. Thanks, mate. I appreciate it.
I do agree with you to an extent. Yeah, we'll touch on that after next week's practice.
Yeah, 100%. Let me see you get through this practice match first.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have confirmation that next week's practice matches are going to be covered by Champion Data. So we will have Supercoach points that we can bring out to the community as they happen.
Fantastic.
Darcy played predominantly ruck with Jackson relieving and playing forward. We're both now fading Jackson because we all knew to start with, if Darcy's in, then it's very limited for Jackson, isn't it?
The price is too much to pay for Jackson just being a pure forward. It's a no-no for me now.
Yep. Brayshaw was solid, but if you had to choose between him and Sarong, I'm going Sarong.
Yep, 100%. I'm definitely leaning Sarong.
Young was the first man not named Brayshaw, Sarong, Fife, or Darcy in the middle and played okay. You can see the potential in him, and if Fife misses time, he will be the man to slide straight in. Tell me about Jaeger O'Meara. What was he doing? And Matthew Johnson. I want to know about those two.
In fairness, Johnson played quite a good, I think it was second quarter. He looked pretty strong, and I'm pretty sure he's playing half back or wing, but he was definitely only on the closest side of the ground, and he actually looked pretty good doing it. Jaeger, I did not see a lot of. I think he was half forward flank or so, but he wasn't that, he wasn't very predominant. He was in the centre bounces a little bit, but again, they mainly went with Brayshaw, Sarong, and Fife for pretty much all of the first quarter, majority of the second, and then Young came in a little bit, and there was someone else, and I can't remember who it was. But Jaeger was in there a little bit later.
Okay. Let's talk about your man. Elliot Yo.
Mate, isn't
started
he
the game at
your
started the game
team?
in the guts. No, he's not my team.
You're taking him out. Oh, okay, lovely.
He was in the guts and looked like the Elliot Yo of old, getting right in and out of the packs. We all know he's an injury risk, but he has most certainly been one of the better Eagles, this pre-season.
It's tough.
I've seen some teams getting around where there's like Yo, there's Taylor Adams, there's Fife, and it's just a recipe for disaster.
That worries me.
Yeah, and I just can't do it to myself.
See, that's the difference, but because Yo's price is higher than Fife's, and Yo did he looked good when he was there. He was starting the centre bounces with Kelly and Reed, and he was getting in and under. But I don't know, man. Those injuries scare the shit out of me. And Cena's been so consistent over the last 3 years. As much as I like it,
no. Wait until next practice match, and we'll have more on that one. Sean Darcy tore apart Williams in the ruck, even though it looked like he wasn't moving that well. But it is pre-season, so we can give him a pass on that. But Williams looks like the number one ruck because a big hammy to Matthew Flynn. I believe it's a tendon injury, and he's done for up to 12 to 14 weeks.
I hadn't heard the duration of how long, but I did hear it was a tear in the hammy, which is a no-no at the captain's run, unfortunately.
Yep. So I think Jason Johannesson from a few years ago when he pinged his hammy kicking from 50 out, that's the tendon. So that's where the tendon snaps off from your hamstring to your gluteus or your glutes in your ass. I've had the surgery myself, and it took me a good 12 to 14 weeks to start playing any kind of sport again. I know, believe it or not, that I'm not an elite athlete like these guys, but there is still a fair bit of rehab that's got to go on there and strengthening around the arse and the hamstring. So, he might not be back till mid-season, but our pod, not so much a pod, but our loophole player, Livingston, 102k ruck forward, played in the ruck in the first quarter, and when Williams rested, he went and played in the ruck.
Oh, and mate,
this could blow up.
Oh, I couldn't believe it. Like, I'm telling you, I think it was probably around the 8-minute mark or so, and I see big 39 go in there, and I'm like, oh no. And they go, Livingston in the ruck against Darcy, and I just went, oh no. And I'll tell you what, there's a reason why he's worth 101. He looked shit house.
Oh, well, maybe it's okay. Oh, yeah. Maybe it's okay to be on our bench if he was that bad. But
mate, but they're going to play him ruck. They don't have anyone else. That's the problem.
They'll just go with Williams one out again, won't they?
You reckon Williams and then maybe a bit of Oscar Allen pinch hit?
Yep.
But they need Oscar Allen to go forward because they got no one else.
They're not going to kick goals anyway. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Anyway, what we're saying is please watch this space next week because that could potentially throw us into a bit of worry, I guess, with our loop options. We're still not going to go with Finbar Malley. There is a young kid by the name of Lachlan Rollinson who's 102k.
West Coast.
And we could go sideways to him and use him as a mid-forward loop if we needed to.
He also played shit.
He did. Harley Reid, 208k. Disappointing, but remember, this is a practice match. He was playing on Fredericks and Walters, only 8 touches for Reid. I'm not worried at all.
No.
So this guy, Harley Reid's never been a huge accumulator of the ball, but it's what he does with the ball that's special. He may not be the elite player this year, given that West Coast are going to be shit, but in years to come, he's going to be the elite of the elite. So watch this space next week. With Jinby's injury, he may go into the midfield and play a game in the midfield.
Poor Jinby.
For those of you that didn't see, concussion, undisclosed how long he'll be out for. Is there anyone else in this game that you want to touch on?
Not really. I mean, Michael Walters played pretty well in fairness, but he's not Supercoach relevant. I just don't feel like, there was much more Supercoach-wise to Liam Ryan. Didn't look as Liam Ryan as he normally does. It was a very quiet game for him. And someone else was taking the kick-ins. It wasn't always Ryan. I think
it wasn't Witherton. Oh, you're talking Fremantle?
Yeah, Fremantle. Yeah, Witherton was taken from West Coast, but there was someone else for Fremantle that was taking him, and I can't remember who it was now.
Yeah,
I didn't jot it down, unfortunately. But Ryan was quite disappointing. But again, just watch what happens next week. It was against West Coast. That's the main thing about this Freo game. It was against West Coast. They all sucked.
Yep. There's a comment in here, good one from our mate Phil Unfiltered. Do you expect Reid to outperform Jinby as a Supercoach rookie? Yes.
Is he talking about what Jinby did last year, or is he talking about?
That's how I'm.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. I believe so.
Travis Lupke, is it wrong to have a mid-price forward line? No. I'm running with that as well.
I also do too.
So my forward line consists of one 494k midfielder from Gold Coast.
I wonder who that is.
Yeah, that's right. And then I've got a Sydney mid-pricer, a Western Bulldogs mid-pricer, a Collingwood mid-pricer, and the rest are rookies. So
right,
I'm okay with it.
Yeah, mine's roughly, I think mine's Freo, Dogs, Sydney, something along those lines. So, yeah.
Yep. Why didn't Jeremy Sharp play? Illness. I did read that he was crook, but he was doing some running on the next oval from where they were playing. Nothing to worry about here. They've been raving about him this preseason. He will be playing wing for Fremantle come round 1.
May not play next week either, though. So that's going to be a bit of a pain in the ass if he doesn't get up for it. Great. And the horse is just disconnected. But that's always fun, isn't it, lads? That's just what happens. So I don't know if I should bullshit because we're already at the end of the show. Nah, He's back.
We had some
I was going to keep going.
Yeah.
Lovely. I was going to
That's
keep
all right.
going with like some of the other questions we had. Justin.
Yeah. Go
Justin
with it.
just asked, is his brother Machito pod on ball this year? And I didn't. No, he played forward.
Yeah. So yeah, don't like that. But with the practice matches starting on Tuesday, be sure to like and follow us on YouTube and X. Also, jump in our Discord where we'll be discussing every game as it happens. The people are already raving about your solo skitty for all the 6.8 seconds. There
I
you
thought
go,
I did
mate.
shit, but I appreciate the love.
Mate, there is a couple of players that I want people to keep their eye out for. And there's been some unconfirmed news getting around about some potential injuries. So in regards to your Zach Williams from Carlton,
yes,
your Nankervis from Richmond and his foot, he's not quite right by all reports. There's a few little injury whispers that are getting around that I want people to keep an eye out on, because there are, especially with the Williams pick, it is very Supercoach relevant that we've seen him average north of 100 before, and that Carlton, we know what Vossi's like. They're going to just be cautious to start the year and then hammer home what's left of the year after their bye. So if they're going to take a cautious approach, if he's got hamstring awareness, hot spots, whatever it is with hamstrings or his knee or whatever, they will rest him. So it's something to keep an eye out for. Watford man in the chat, Connor Simpson, or Cooper Simpson, sorry.
Cooper Simpson. Yeah.
Number 29 for Fremantle. He's taken Matthew Pavlich's number.
He popped up a fair few times. Yeah, he popped up a few times, but it wasn't like he was like everywhere and anywhere, you know what I mean? It was just, he popped up a couple of little nice pieces. So, again.
Watford, I think he's potential to be a sub. That's
that's
probably
a good
way to put it. So he did some nice things, but he wasn't consistent by any means. And I think that they're going to roll around with Tommy Emmett, 182k forward to start down there. He looks good.
He actually was very impactful in the first quarter as well.
Yeah.
And I think it was first 5 entrances into inside 50, and Tom Emmett had 3 shots on goal or so.
Yeah, 3 shots on goal, kicked one and passed one off. Yep.
Passed one off and missed the other one. So they actually looked for him inside, and he looked actually pretty good.
Yep, and we know that he scored a 64 and a 96 to finish last year. Yes. So there's definite Supercoach relevancy there. A couple more just in the chat, mate, before we finish off the evening. Thoughts on Massimo D'Ambrosio and Sarong Jr. from Hawks. I'm looking at Massimo. Haven't got him in at the moment, but he did get 20-odd touches on the wing and a lot of them kicks on the weekend.
And
so it might be nice.
Halfback also.
Yep. Sarong Jr., not so sure.
Yeah, he looked a bit he didn't look quite done yet. That was an undercooked chook, if you ask me.
Yep.
But sorry, just quickly on D'Ambrosio, he I thought he played shithouse in the first quarter, and he took a little while to come into his own. Then he went to halfback. He looked a lot more comfortable halfback wing kind of area, and he started getting it more into the game later on.
Yeah. David Morgan in the chat. Welcome, David. Zach Williams is the biggest trap in Supercoach 2024. He has the FUCKED me for the last 2 years. Never, ever again. Mate, I'm telling you, if the hamstring awareness comes out and he's true and he's missing come round 0, round 1, it's very hard to pick someone awkwardly priced, and you don't know what their job security is like and what their body's doing. So Sharp out was illness. $100 cash league. Send you the details. What a fucking legend. Let's get him on board.
Bloody
join the Discord, which is below, mate. Send me a DM. I am the horse. I'll sort you out, brother. And Ian Carell, sharp out with illness. Spot on, mate. So what we're going to do, we're going to wrap up tonight's live. We do have Phil Unfiltered joining me in a pod which will be dropped tomorrow. Phil has been involved, or not so much involved, but he's been to watch some GWS, some Sydney training runs. He's been watching games between Sydney and GWS. He has his finger on the pulse on all things to do with New South Wales teams. He's going to join me, and we're going to run through maybe some notes, some players that haven't been brought up, especially in the Vic media, that I think are pretty Supercoach worthy. So looking forward to digging in with Philly and having a bit of a chat about that. But before we leave, mate, anything else you'd like to bring up?
No, mate, that's it for me.
Beauty.
I'm all joked and footied out for the day. So
Yeah.
getting ready for Tuesday. We got
don't be
Richmond
stupid.
Collingwood.
Can never have too much footy. For those of you that are still here, 913351. If you have not joined our unlimited league yet, 913351. It is free to join, and if you score the top prize each week, you win an $80 prize pack. Thanks to the guys at the Standard Squeeze.
Yeah.
Yeah, sir. Anyway, on the horse. This is Skiddy. Thank you for joining us tonight. This has been another episode of the Insight AFL podcast. See ya.